Hey, this is Dan Gracie. You're listening to Horns Over Hoops, a Fans First Sports Network affiliate.
What's good, Bulls fans and Horniacs, and welcome back to another edition of the Horns Over Hoops podcast. I'm joined as always with Scotty B and Dan Gracie. Fellas, it is episode lucky number 13. So for this episode, we're going to devote it to one of the best Bulls players to ever wear number 13. I'm
Torrey
talking,
Craig.
of course, of Tony Bradley. Yeah, well, close. I would do an episode of Torrey Craig if he finished a complete season, but no, this is the Joakim Noah episode of the Horns Over Hoops podcast. But before we get into that, fellas, how are we doing today? How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I woke up a little cold, so I went over to our store and bought myself a hoodie, which all fans can do that, and they can use the promo code HORNS20 at checkout.
Yeah, you got it right this time.
Save yourself 20% on our merch.
You were struggling with that with our last episode.
Oh yeah, I didn't even know what the promo code was, so.
Which, if you haven't checked that out, check it out. Our last episode, it was the All-Star Game wrap-up episode. That was an entertaining one. So slide over there and listen to that one. Scott, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fine. This weather is bullshit. I think it was like 60 degrees on Thursday. It snowed on Friday. It's going to be 60 degrees on Sunday. So,
yeah, the
Midwest,
fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
Midwest, gotta love
it. So guys, this is our first full episode as an affiliate of the Fans First Sport Network. If you listeners haven't known already, we did sign on to become an affiliate with the Fans First Sport Network. We thank them for extending such an offer to us. We're happy to be aboard and happy to start providing quality content for them. So with all that aside, let's jump into this lucky number 13 episode. So guys, our wonderful, wonderful Chicago Bulls went 5-5 in the last 10 games. We're currently sitting on a 2-game losing streak. Still sitting 9th in the East for now, but our 2 losses coming to Cleveland and Boston. So guys, what's been your take on the game so far? What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know what to think of this team. Like, there's some players that are stepping up, but we continue to be a mediocre team, and I don't think we'll ever be more than a mediocre team. There has been some emergence, and it does seem like they are giving the keys back to Kobe, or finally letting him take over. They are playing the Drummond-Vooch combo a lot more, and we are starting to see the younger players of Julian Phillips and Dalen Terry. We're starting to see those two get a lot more minutes, and they're starting to make a lot more impact on the game, which is great. We did get the bad news about Pat Williams, but the thing I've noticed about this team and the messaging is how many we've had 2 or 3 players turn a day-to-day injury into, oh, they're out for the year, or
Yep.
oh, they're out for 2 to 3 months. Like,
Yep.
How did that happen? Give us better messaging.
Yeah, they're not very transparent with the fans.
Yeah. Twitter's been calling for the Bulls to start rolling heads on their training staff. Like you said, the Zach LaVine was day to day, and then we I don't know if we beat who did we beat, and then like immediately after we beat him, now it's out 4 to 6 weeks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That Pat Williams injury, he was supposed to be out 2 weeks. Then it's like, oh, we'll keep you posted. Now it's, he's out for the season.
Well,
injury bug's been killing us.
Wasn't Pat also kind of hiding his injury?
I don't know. I don't know how much validity
Like he
behind it.
didn't want to bring it up or something. That's just what I heard through the grapevine. Yeah. I'm not too sure about how true it is, but
yeah, I don't know. I know that bone edema is never a good sign. So kudos to Pat for wanting to play. But ultimately, I'm sure his health is the biggest concern. And actually, while we're talking about injuries, Bulls got hit with couple swings of the injury punch the last few games.
For sure. It's like Mike Tyson out there.
Yeah. We lost Torrey Craig again to a workout injury. I think I don't know if it was during shoot around or he got injured. I don't quite recall what they released that he injured, but they just said that he got injured during workouts. What did you guys hear about Torrey Craig's injury?
Yeah, I heard it was during a workout. I was a little surprised because it was during All-Star Weekend. I thought all the players were like, yeah, obviously you're going to work out and stuff, but I thought you were supposed to be like mainly resting and everything. I'm just like, dude, how are you going to get hurt on your day off? It was kind of like a Craig Friday moment.
How are you going to get fired on your day off?
Like everyone's resting right now and you're hurting yourself. Like the hell? But no, it does suck. We need bodies at this point. Yeah, we'll see what we do. I'm not too sure. Scott, what do you think?
I didn't really hear much about his injury other than he did it on his own, just like practicing and working out. So, but he's been injured all year, and that's an issue with the team. Is no one's really been healthy. It's people are always missing 1-2 games. I don't think we've had a fully healthy team at all this year.
You're absolutely right. I mean, the obvious one, Lonzo. Lonzo, we haven't seen him in a couple of years. Zach's been battling that foot injury. He's here, he's there, he's out, he's in. You know what I mean? We've been dealing with Torrey Craig's, what was that plantar fasciitis. He was out 4 to 6 months, or weeks rather, right before that Christmas break there. Now we got the Patrick Williams bone edema, and we're right back to Torrey Craig. So the injury bug has been making its way around the Bulls locker room. And I'll be honest with you, for as injury prone as we are still hanging around that 9th seed. So which leaves me to ask you guys, if this team was fully healthy, minus Lonzo, of course, because obviously we know that one. But if this team was fully healthy, minus Lonzo, would we have moved up in the standings, or do you think we'd be sitting pretty much where we're at?
I think that we would move up to maybe like that 7-8 spot. I don't think we would, get up to 5-6. That's just me, though.
I think are you saying if the team was fully healthy all year?
Yeah, like I'm saying, if we didn't have these injuries, if everyone was playing minus Lonzo, if this team was full strength, where do you think we'd be sitting?
11th, 12th. We would have never.
You think we?
Think about this. We never would have saw the emergence of Kobe White. We would have never saw the ball movement. We would have never saw the combo of Vooch and Drummond together. We would have would have still been just like tentative. Pat wouldn't have been shooting at all. We would have been like the Pistons.
Yeah, I was gonna say
maybe not that bad.
It would depend on how Zach's playing. Like, is Zach playing winning basketball, or is Zach playing no, screw you guys, ISO on me, I'm gonna chuck up a 3 after dribbling the ball out too much.
So playing get me off this team basketball?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a bold statement. You know what? I like yours, Dan, and I like Scott's angle.
I can see how Scott's thinking. I mean, it makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Well, we were on like a 15-game losing streak before
the
Zach
beginning
got
of the
hurt.
season. We were.
Yeah, we started at what, 5-17, or it was a crazy bad first part of the season.
Horrendous. It's probably
We
gonna
lost
be
to
like
the
next season,
Pistons.
too.
Yeah.
First game.
Now's your time, Dan. You have the floor. Go ahead and crap on the Pistons some more.
No, I
lobbed it up for you.
I know I said I was going to trash the Detroit Pistons every chance I get and everything, but I was thinking about it. Maybe I should stop. But goddamn, I mean, losing to the Pistons by 20. The Pistons are fucking trash, bro.
This explains why every time I open up our statistics, we have no listeners in Detroit. The state of Michigan, 0 listeners, and I have you, Dan Gracie, to thank for that.
I mean, sucks to suck, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, literally.
Get that Wingstop, though.
Hey, just looking at the standings, the Wizards only have one more win than the Pistons.
Oh, really? They did just bench Jordan Poole. Did you see that?
Best move they've ever made.
Yeah, about time. But yeah, back to the Wizards as well. Like, that's why, like, when Kuz called out the Detroit Pistons, I was just like, what are you talking? Like, you're in that same realm as the Pistons. You're on the Wizards. One of
I'm
the
pretty
worst
sure the
teams
best
in the NBA.
move that Washington has made is acquiring Danny Gafford from the Bulls, because that dude tore it
Well,
up
he's
for him.
gone now, though. He's gone from...
I know, but that dude was a beast.
Yeah.
And now we're hurting for centers. Go figure.
I was never a fan of us trading away Big Dan.
No. I was never a fan of us acquiring Otto Porter, but that's just me. Any such, yeah, the Torrey Craig injury, going way back to our point, it was a little bit mysterious. It hurt because he came back and he started playing that lockdown defense that he was known for the first couple games that he played for us, and he was doing his job. He was hitting that outside shot a little bit more consistently, and he was defending those big name players. So having him go down, besides his size and his defense, he was the second Caruso on defense. So big hit there. But Patrick Williams with that bone edema, Patrick Williams was showing a little bit of an emergence, or I don't want to say emergence as much as he was finding his place on this roster before he got injured. He started to show his confidence. I saw him put a few people on a poster, and then he unfortunately succumbed to that bone edema injury. But guys, what did you think of Pat Williams up until he got injured? What would you say of him?
I thought he was playing really well. I thought he was, like you said, like his confidence grew on the court, and it showed because he was dunking on people. He was shooting the 3-11 better. He was showing his potential and what we wanted to see from Pat for the last 2-3 years now. So it was good to see, and yeah, it really sucked when the news came out that he was out for the season.
Yeah, I mean, and what sucks the most is he's on a contract year.
Yeah,
for the Bulls fans who don't remember, the Bulls did pull his contract offer or ended negotiations prior to the beginning of the season. I don't know if that was a strategy to see what he can do, maybe bet on himself or what have you.
I think it was they went like the Kobe White route. You know how like we just let Kobe play and then we evaluated in the offseason and then just, we'll probably, I think Pat will still be a Bull next season.
You do?
I do.
I'm glad you said that, because after I get Scott's opinion about Williams before he got injured, that was my next question. So before we get to that, Scott, what did you think of Patrick Williams before he got injured?
He was an average player. He was maybe a fourth or fifth option. He still was hesitant on a lot of things. He did try to poster someone every game, which was funny. He was never the 3-and-D guy that we wanted. I don't know. I feel like he lacks confidence in himself a lot, which caused him to be worse than he is. Like, he shows flashes that he can be a decent player, but he's never going to be a superstar. He's never going to be an all-star. He's at best a number 3 option. And that's a stretch for him. He just doesn't have the confidence himself to be that type of scorer. And I don't think he's that great on defense, and which is a problem because that's kind of the guy that we wanted from him. He never took that step to be a lockdown defender. So
baby Kawhi.
Yeah, that's what he came into the league as, and he's not anywhere near that.
Is that opinion? And now this is a question again before I move into the next one. Are these opinions of Patrick Williams based on he was drafted 4th overall or his current position on this roster and role?
Just watching him, just his current position. I don't care about when he was drafted. Who cares about that? At that point, I'm not going to say he's a bust because he's he was the 4th pick. If you're looking at it that way, he's an absolute bust. You're going to look at what he's doing throughout this year. There's too many times where he's getting blown by on defense. He's not boxing people out to get the rebound. He's afraid to take wide open jumpers. He doesn't have enough confidence in himself to be a good player all the time. Like, you see flashes of it, but most of the time, he's an average player. He's a 6-man or a low-end starter at best.
See, I feel like part of his mental blockage out there on the court is because he was playing with Zach, DeMar, and Vooch, and, he wants to feed them because obviously those are our big 3 offensive guys. that's why I think that when Zach went out, you saw like flashes of what we wanted to see from Pat. I feel like if we were to rebuild, I think that Pat should be in it just to see what he would be like without DeMar, Vooch, without our quote unquote stars.
Yeah. I'm with you, Dan. I felt like when those big three were on the court and Patrick Williams was on the court with those big three, so to speak, I felt like he fed into them more than he played off of them.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he was trying so hard to get them involved that he forgot to put himself in the mix as well. Now, Patrick Williams has his own set of talents. Obviously that's our big three, so to speak, again. But Patrick Williams had some talents of his own that he brought to that rotation. But I would have liked to have seen a little bit more involvement, both offensively and defensively. Like you guys said, don't be afraid to go up there and take that shot. If you miss a shot, you miss a shot. Big deal. You're going to miss shots. But that's what I like to see more of him. So yeah, it's a shame. Which is why, like we said earlier in the podcast, how he plays better off the bench with that second unit, where I feel like he feels like himself to be the leader of the second unit. You know what I mean? He's the guy that comes off the bench. All right, now it's my turn to lead the core. So yeah, Dan, I do agree. He could be a potential candidate. I don't want to say to build around, but
no,
a key player in the future.
Yeah. No, I agree with Scott saying that at best he could probably be like a third or fourth option on a team.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's pretty accurate right there. I agree with that. Now, we'll get to the question I had earlier. Do you think that Patrick Williams is a member of the Chicago Bulls going into next season? Now, before I have you guys answer that, keep in mind, we're almost at the luxury tax of $1.7 million. Kobe White does have a clause in his contract that's still on the table that could put us into the luxury tax, okay? Because as everybody knows, we pay the luxury tax at the end of the season, not during. So we're already almost at our cap space there. We still have to sign DeMar DeRozan, which it sounds like all signs are pointing towards he's going to be back next year based on his All-Star game speech that he gave. So that leaves little to no room to sign Patrick Williams. So guys, given all that, will Patrick Williams be a member of this team next year?
I'm still going to say yes.
Okay. Why do you think that?
Just because who else are we going to sign? Like, I feel like we can sign Patrick probably to a team-friendly deal, just like how we did with Kobe, because the market probably isn't going to be, there's probably not much out there for Pat. So I don't know. The way this team operates, I can 100% see this exact same team coming back next season and getting the same exact results as we always do. So
no doubt.
I don't know how they're going to do it.
So the salary cap's going to go up about $5 million, which is kind of low, but I'm just kind of looking at what's going to be available next year, and Bulls have $41 million to spend, but they also have to, are they going to sign Drummond? Are they going to bring DeMar back? Pat Will's going to he's making $12 million right now. He's going to want way more than that, and I don't think he's more than 12 to 15.
With the injuries and everything, I don't think he's going to get what he wants. And I also do think that Drummond's probably going to walk because he can probably get more money on a different team, and he could probably be a starter. Like, he'll probably be a member of the Houston Rockets next season.
Yeah. Torrey Craig has a player option.
He's going to take that.
Is he going to use it?
He'll probably exercise that, yeah.
Lonzo Ball has a player option. Is he
See,
going to use
the Lonzo Ball situation is kind of like a wait and see because we don't know if Lonzo is even going to be able to play. Like, I'm glad that he's, walking and doing day-to-day kind of stuff that we can all do. But he still hasn't run yet, I don't think. And as soon as he starts running and cutting, that's going to be like the true test of if Lonzo can play next season.
See, I'm glad you mentioned that because he's owed, 20 and some change million dollars next year,
Mm-hmm.
which the Bulls, as the fans know, if they've been keeping up with Lonzo Ball, the Bulls fans know that if he is too injured to play, I think we get like 10 million of that back, injury exception or what have you. So you got to think, if he comes back, that salary is on the books. So that leaves us no room to sign anybody. If that's the case, Patrick Williams, it was fun having you. We'll see you later. Because I think when it comes down to a DeMar DeRozan or a Patrick Williams, I think this front office is going to lean towards keeping DeMar just because of the fact that he brings more to the table, not just on the court, but off the court, because he's become a fan favorite. He's already established his love for the city. So, yeah, he won't be cheap, but he has more of a chance of coming back than Pat Williams.
It also depends on what we offer DeMar, because, I mean, they've been negotiating pretty much all season. We don't know if they've come to an agreement yet. They might have, but I mean, if I was DeMar and they weren't offering me enough, why not go over to Philly and maybe win a championship? Why not just go home to LA and play at home? Because, I mean, if he goes to the Lakers, he's probably not going to win a championship. Let's be real. But he would still be able to go home, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't like the whole DeMar situation. I'm on the fence with. I don't know if he's going to stay or leave.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. At this point of DeMar's career, I don't think he's going to get a better offer than what the Bulls are going to give him. I don't know how much salary we have to work with. I'm going to anticipate he's going to get somewhere in the realm of 3 years, $100 million extension. I don't know if that number works. I'm just waiting to see it.
I'm not going to be a huge fan of keeping him. Like, I love DeMar and everything, but I don't know if I'm going to be a huge fan of keeping him just because I do want us to, instead of retooling, I'd rather rebuild at this point.
So would you rather have us, just asking you, let DeMar walk and potentially making a run for like a Klay Thompson?
Us go for Klay?
Yeah.
I would rather, I just want to sign young talent and just try to develop.
Yeah, which I'm all there for you. I'm all there with you. But unfortunately, it looks like all that young talent is getting scooped up and locked down around the league.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
Well, Scott, what do you think?
I wouldn't take
about
Klay.
it?
I wouldn't take Klay.
No?
No.
I wouldn't take Klay either. Not a chance. He's having such a bad year. He'll randomly go off for like 40 points, but he's over the hill. He's not a consistent player. One of the reasons he's good is because Curry takes a lot of the pressure off. We don't have a Curry type player to take the pressure off where he could get open. Plus, Billy's plays are not off the ball movement. That's part of the thing that makes him good too, is being able to move off the ball and be good. I believe we'll bring back DeMar, and Dan's whole thing about building for getting young players for the future. After this year, we don't have a first round pick.
No, it's to San Antonio.
Yeah, it's a top 10 protected. We're gonna lose that. So we're gonna get our pick this year. We're not gonna get Portland's pick for probably a couple years.
Maybe a sign and trade.
We won't have another one till 2026.
2026 is our next pick. Yeah.
Well, we have this year in 2026.
Real quick this year, I know that the talent in this draft is not the greatest, but if you guys haven't been watching them, my boy Donovan Klingon in UConn has been an absolute monster.
His last name is Klingon?
Yeah, Klingan. Klingon. I don't know, but they call him Kling Kong. And it's like the coolest nickname ever. So he's a big 7-footer, and where we're lacking in size, I think that drafting somebody like him would be incredible if we have an opportunity to. Especially if
Drummond walks.
Right. I mean, that would be a perfect opportunity to re-sign him and have him mentor the next center. Because I'd trust Drummond to mentor the next center over Vooch. That's just my opinion. But then again, my opinion is also that we bring Sanogo up and have him be mentored through Andre Drummond.
Instead, we got someone else that we brought over for our final roster spot. But we'll get to that a little later.
No, we'll get to that now, because I'm glad you mentioned that, because our next segment is the finalization of our roster. We've filled out our last roster spot that Bulls fans were hoping to get somebody out of the buyout market, but unfortunately, as we mentioned earlier, our funds were little to none. And Dan, why don't you go ahead and elaborate our big buyout market signing that we did? Go ahead, Dan. Who would we get?
We converted. I forgot.
Come on. You were practicing this. You were practicing this.
I know. I was practicing.
What's his name?
I forgot his first name, but it's Batum. Batum.
Yeah, owner up Batum.
Owner up Batum.
Yeah.
Which I was surprised by, because like I looked at it and I was thinking to myself, like, Is this because we couldn't afford anyone or because no one from the buyout market wanted to come to Chicago? And I'm leaning more towards no one wanted to come to Chicago. Because why would you? I mean, it's the same team over and over again. We're constantly underachieving. Our owners don't care about the product on the floor. All they care about is the bomb dollar. So why would you come here? You wouldn't. I wouldn't. I would go to a championship team and try to get a ring instead.
Yeah, that's
Not
exactly
nothing.
right.
Not to take away from like the team's talents or anything. Like I know that kid can like shoot lights out.
Yeah.
When he was in the G League, he was like shooting like 41%.
Yeah,
when he was down there.
43.3% in the G League.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm glad that we have more bodies, I guess, and it's someone young. We'll see where this goes. We'll see if Billy actually gives him minutes.
Scott, why don't you go ahead and elaborate on, do you think that Batim was signed because we recognized his talents finally or because we had no other options?
I think it was no other options. The fact that he played one game for 8 minutes and then they signed him was kind of very interesting to me. Like,
yeah, the trash minutes.
Yeah, what'd you see in that 8 minutes is like, oh, we need to sign him for the rest of the year. And yeah, no one was ever going to come to the Bulls, and I don't think the Bulls even tried to get anybody. They're not a serious franchise, and I'm sticking with it.
No, we're not.
That they're more worried about getting people into the United Center than putting up a competitive team. They tried to put up a competitive team. The team got injured. They don't care anymore.
I don't know if anyone has seen this article. It's on The Athletic. Darnell Marbury wrote it. It was about, he interviewed some executive from the Bulls organization, and he pretty much admitted that they do not care about the product on the court. All Jerry cares about is putting butts in seats, and as long as they're profitable, then they're fine. They do not care whatsoever about winning championships, being actually competitive. All they care about is the bottom dollar. That's all this organization cares about.
Yeah.
And when I read that, I felt so disrespected as a fan. I care so much about this team, and the owners and the front office doesn't give a shit about any of us. And it's just insulting. I almost wanted to be like, I'm done with this fucking organization. Because if you don't care about me, why should I care about you?
Damn, Gracie, you got me wanting to pull out some tissues there. Man.
I'm sorry.
Showed some emotions there.
It's just so bullshit. Like, I put so much, like, I care so much about this team and this organization, and they just spit in my face and tell me to enjoy it. Like,
no, I'm glad you mentioned that because, like we mentioned to other podcasts, the sport is a two-sided sport. There is the ownership side of the sport, and there's the spectator side of the sport. You know what I mean? So we got to look at both sides of the coin. But as far as the buyout market is concerned and the Batim signing, I think it was a combination of both, Dan. I like how you brought up that you don't know if it was nobody wanted to come here or we just didn't have the funds. And I think it was a little bit of both. I think with that 1.7 million, I don't think we were going to get anything with that, especially with, again, there still being a clause in Kobe's contract that he could potentially make that bonus. But also, the buyout market to me has always been players looking to it's those players that can be added to a championship roster to give them that extra boost. You know what I mean? Or just, players signing for the money. You know what I mean? But in this case, we had none of those two to offer. We weren't in title contention. Let's just be honest. We're not even playoff contention almost. And we definitely don't have a bunch of money to just throw at players. So what does that leave us? Let's convert a two-way player in the G League. I wish it would have been Sonogo in my case, because in my honest opinion, I'm going to say this over and over again, he had brought more to the table than Batim. Yes, Batim brings three-point shooting, but where we may not be the best three-point shooting team, we do have three-point shooters on the team. And when we're on, we're on. But one thing that we don't have on this team is big men. And Sonogo is killing it in the G League. Like, I don't understand. There must be something that I'm not seeing, but why have we not brought this guy up and played crucial minutes under the wing of one of the best offensive rebounders in the league right now?
I think it's because Billy likes to play small. I mean, he had Terry Taylor out there playing center, so,
Yeah.
I mean, the two biggest things we need is 3-point shooting and size, and Billy chose 3-pointer over size. So
I just want Billy to free Sonogo. And actually, I'm going to plug this right here. If you go to denzelrange.com, we have the free hashtag free Sonogo Horniacs Chicago, Horns Over Hoops podcast official shirt. So go on there, check it out. And again, promo code HORNS20, save you 20% off that t-shirt. Let's get a movement starting. Let's get that young man up in the NBA. He deserves better.
And the movement should be Jerry selling the team.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned Jerry because, Scott, Jerry Reinsdorf had a very special request for the city of Chicago. And could you tell the Bulls fans and Horniacs what Jerry Reinsdorf requested?
Jerry Reinsdorf drove down to Springfield and asked for $2 billion from the state of Illinois to build a stadium in the South Loop.
This is for the Sox.
Yeah, for the Sox. But the audacity of him to think that Illinois residents should pay for the whole stadium and he shouldn't have to pay anything. Yep. And he's gonna threaten to move the team. And I hope Illinois tells him to go fuck themselves. Because Jerry, you have so much money. Stop trying to steal money from Illinois residents. Put some money back into the team. Stop being so cheap. $2 billion for a stadium? That's absolutely ridiculous.
For another mediocre team.
Funny thing, if you guys saw the AI rendering of the new thing, Chicago was spelled wrong on the stadium.
How did they spell it?
I think they put an A just randomly in the middle of it, but
Chicago.
It was It was bad. That's how Jerry is. He did the same thing last time. Was he threatened to move the team, and it was bullshit.
Yeah.
Illinois should not. Why are we doing this to billionaires? Why do we keep giving them tax subsidies to build stadiums that they should be able to afford?
Yeah, seriously.
Because the city of Illinois or the state of Illinois knows that the White Sox and the Chicago Bulls are big revenue generators, both in tickets, but sales, merchandise. I mean, even if you don't follow the team, everyone's rocking a Bulls or a Sox gear.
They're not going to bring $2 billion back.
No,
the White Sox are not going to bring $2 billion back into the city.
I can see the Cubs.
The fact is, the Cubs asked for money from the state to help rebuild their stadium, and they were told no, but Jerry thinks they're going to get $2 billion. That's ridiculous.
No, especially after it didn't. I mean, we all know Comiskey. Not to get off topic, but they pretty much just got a brand new stadium. You know what I mean? Because Comiskey Park, they tore that down and built the U.S. Cellular then. So they have a new stadium. You know what I mean?
It's 20 years old.
Which further proves the point, tying it all back in sports, there's owners that are involved in the team, like a Mark Cuban, who just want, whatever it takes. Just, I want to win a championship. Money, I don't care. Take it. And now he's gone. Yep. And then there's owners like a Jerry Reinsdorf where he's more interested in the dollar bill. And sure, you know what I mean? That if that's what you want, he's successful in that because we're still going to the games and we're still buying his merchandise. So
stop going to games.
But you know what I mean? So anyway.
Yeah, I wish our owner was Steve Ballmer. I wish we had Steve Ballmer as an owner.
Why?
Because the man is insane. Have you seen Steve Ballmer?
You want that? There are so many Chicago personnel that can own this team, and you want Steve Ballmer?
He wants someone like Steve Ballmer that's
going
to actually care about the team.
I just want someone who actually cares.
He's going to put his own money into it because I'm pretty sure he put a lot of money into building the new arena that they're going to get.
Yep.
Completely off topic. Did you guys see LeBron wants a $100 million contract?
What?
Shut up, LeBron. LeBron, you've made so much money in your life. Shut up. Stop it.
He wants to be a billionaire. That's the reason why. Is he wants to retire a billionaire so he can partially buy a team.
He'll probably make billions once he retires anyways, just off his shoes and advertisements and everything else.
But players like LeBron, let's just face it, immediately after you leave the court, you're in the front office somewhere or part of an organization. So yeah, I could absolutely agree with Scott and see that happening. tying it all back, back to the Bulls. This has been a fucking long tangent. I'll just say that. Despite all of our ups and downs with a lot of downs this season, we have had some good news along the way. We've had some Bulls step up. I feel like Kobe White has finally stepped up as either one or two best player on this team. We've also seen the emergence of Scott's boy, Ayo Dosunmu. Scott, now's your time. Go ahead. Tell the fans about Ayo Dosunmu. Go ahead.
You're starting to see flashes of what he was at Illinois, which is awesome because he was such a dominant player there. He took over the game. He's not afraid to take the jump shots anymore. He's moving off the ball. He's playing really good defense. And he's making ridiculous layups and he's driving, blowing past people. His three-point shooting has been crazy lately. I think he's shooting about 60% from three in the last 5 games. He's shooting 55% from the field. Last game, he almost got a triple-double. He's getting a lot of rebounds. He's playing really good defense. He's being a lot more aggressive, and that's what I saw at Illinois, and it's what we saw flashes of when he was a rookie too. So you're starting to see him emerge as kind of take that spot that we expected Patrick Williams to take. I love it. I love the fact that he's stepped up and starting to emerge as a really good player.
Yeah. I'm glad that it was just like a sophomore slump his second year in the league, and now that I wouldn't call it an emergence of AO, but like Scott said, he's playing more like how he did his rookie year and how he was when he was in college. So yeah, if we do a rebuild, just keep Kobe, Ayo, and Pat. Oh, and Phillips, obviously, and, our young talent that we currently have.
Don't be dogging my boy Phillips. Don't forget about my boy Phillips. Have you seen?
No, Phillips is legit.
You see him in the Boston game?
Yeah. That second quarter that we had, that was about it. That was the only good quarter we played.
Did you guys see that going around Twitter? I mean, I don't want to go off topic, but again, Julian Phillips debuted his cornrows. That's when he started playing like amazing. So like they were equating cornrow Phillips to like Hoodie Mello.
Oh God, I didn't see that. I mean, hey, if it works, it works though.
It works, right? No, Scott, I'm glad that your boy is having. I'm not going to say an emergence like Dan said. These are all talents that we've seen in Illinois. It was just transcending them into the NBA. And you guys are forgetting that this is coming off of the same season where he did something only 3 other players have done in NBA history, and that's register a 0-0-0-0-0 games, not a single stat. And I'll be honest with you, after that game happened, I don't think he's looked back since. He's had an incredible upstroke since then.
Yeah, Ayo is legit. I don't think he is a starter, though. I don't think he'll ever be a starter. I think he's a good energy guy to bring off the bench. And I think that would be his role, like, for the majority of his career.
I mean, on our team, I could see him being a starter on this team.
Oh, on this team, I mean, yeah.
I can see them running Kobe White, AO.
Like, yeah, if we do end up trading Zach in the offseason, which I doubt we will, I would hope that it would be Ayo at 1 and Kobe at 2, because I think Kobe's better off ball than bringing the ball up.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion, though.
Yeah. No, I think so. And speaking of Kobe, we saw something back in the Cleveland game that we haven't seen this entire year from Kobe. And Scott, what did Kobe do at the end of the game that we haven't seen all year?
He was allowed to take the last shot.
He was allowed to take the game-tying shot. Why was that so significant?
That's DeRozan. That's all that it's been this year is DeRozan's doing it, but they trusted Kobe to take that shot. It was a decent look. It almost went in, but yeah.
Yeah, Kobe's clutch game will get better with time, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, and honestly, because I watched that game to start to finish, Kobe was having a tremendous shooting game, and Billy Donovan finally recognized we needed a 3, and our best case to make this shot would be go to the hot hand, and that's Kobe. Now, Bulls fans on Twitter were absolutely livid. They said it was a poorly drawn up plan, and they should have elected for a better shot, but that that only happened because he missed the shot. Because do you guys remember in the 2015-2016 series against Cleveland where Derrick Rose hit that incredible shot on Tristan Thompson? Okay. Yeah. That was almost the same style look. And Bulls fans were like, that was an incredible shot. That was the best shot ever taken because it went in. If you would have missed that.
Also because it was Derrick Rose.
Well, yeah. And because But if Kobe White would have hit that shot over, I forgot who was guarding him, but if he would have hit that shot and sent it, overtime, he would have had a statue outside the United Center. But because he missed it, all the Bulls fans are saying that was a terrible shot. I think that was the best possible shot you could get given the situation at hand, be the pressure, what have you. It was a fair shot, and it was his first attempt at a game winner or a game clutch shot this season. So I was a big fan of it. I hope we see more of it because, like Scott said, that's DeRozan's job. I mean, I think you can count on the last 2 minutes. Ball's not leaving DeRozan's hand for the rest. You know what I mean?
No.
Whether he turns it over or not. So, Dan, what did you think of it?
I thought I was happy that Billy gave Kobe the green light in the clutch finally, because everyone knows that it's going to go tomorrow. Why not just switch it up, go to someone else, go to the hot hand? Kobe was hot that night. It didn't go in. Like I said earlier, Kobe's clutch game will only grow with time. The emergence of Kobe is for real. Yeah, he didn't make All-Star, but I do think he has a legit shot of getting Most Improved Player.
Which, after our last episode we recorded and we established it, All-Star is just a name now because we remember we were talking about how like you get sent, we spend all this time, talking somebody up saying, "Oh, make him an All-Star," and then they just go to a game that nobody watches. Yeah. So yeah, fellas, with all the down.
Before you go to that, this is just a random stat I want you guys to guess. I don't know if it's still true, but I saw it years ago. Who do you think has one of the highest field goal percentages or the highest field goal percentage of game tying or going ahead field goals?
Is that an NBA history or Bulls history?
NBA history with like 5-10 seconds left.
Derrick Rose?
No.
Carmelo Anthony?
No.
Who is it?
Stop. Oh, hold on.
Rudy Gay.
Rudy Gay, really?
Yeah. Rudy Gay was shooting like, he shot like 44% on those like game tying clutch shots.
Really?
Yeah.
Back in the day, man, I wanted Rudy Gay on the team so bad.
You loved Rudy Gay.
He was good.
I was a big fan of Rudy Gay and OJ Mayo. That Memphis team, the grit and grind Memphis team with Zebo.
Mike Conley,
did they
Rudy
have
Gay.
Kid Gilchrist on that team too?
I don't know, but I know they had Mark Gasol too, didn't they?
Yeah.
They might have had Kid Gilchrist. I don't know.
I thought he was in
Charlotte Bobcats.
Yeah, back when they were the Bobcats.
Yeah. NBA, bring back the Bobcats. That was such a cool name.
Dude, if you bring back the Bobcats, I think they should definitely go to Utah. There's zero jazz being played in Utah.
Okay, here it is. Here it is. We were waiting for it. What part of the United States is Dan going to crap on today?
It's
Utah.
Mormon-infested Utah Jazz.
Jeez. Okay. All right. There it is. Yeah. Utah might still be a little pissed off at us from what we did to them 97, 98. So.
Fuck them.
Jeez. Okay. Anyway.
Yeah, did you know that the I don't know what their stadium's called, but the Wi-Fi password is Jordan pushed.
Yeah, that's the password, or is that the name of
No, that's the password for it to get into their Wi-Fi is Jordan pushed.
It wasn't a push.
It wasn't a push. I've seen that clip multiple times, hundreds of times.
Yeah. It's not a push.
Not a push, Utah.
I love that everybody calls it the shot, and it's like everybody thinks it's like the last shot of the game, but it was like I think there was like 2 or 3 more plays after that.
Yeah. There was one, and that was
there was one.
That was either John Stockton or Jeff Hornacek lifting, heaving a 3-point shot that almost went in. But I always thought the shot was when he took the shot on Craig Elo, because every time I hear the shot, I hear Jordan the shot on Elo good. You know what I mean? That's the shot
true.
that I'm thinking of. So
true.
But I always thought that was called the last shot ever, but then he went to Washington. Whatever. Fellas, with all the downs that we've seen this year and the hopes of a playoff run kind of dwindling away here into the wind, what would you guys at this point of the season, post All-Star break, post trade deadline, post buyout market, what would you guys see as a successful remainder of the season? Go ahead, Scott.
At this point, I really don't care if we make the playoffs or not. I just want Kobe to continue to build confidence in himself, the team to show that they trust him. One thing we didn't talk about with that Cavs game is after the game, him and DeRozan went over to the video coordinator and rewatched that play where he threw the ball away. He went in the post-game interview, is like, yeah, I went over there, watched it. Me and DeRozan talked about it. I need to work on my vision. I thought he was cutting. I want him to continue to show his development and growth. I want Io to continue to build his confidence and be aggressive. Terry and Phillips continue to build more confidence, build more minutes, start scoring more, getting some more time on the floor. Caruso, stop getting so crazy and stay healthy.
That's just how he plays, man.
I know. And Vooch, he seems to be more comfortable now shooting. Like, I feel like his 3-point percentage is getting better and he's becoming more of a team player, which is great. So yeah. I really don't care if they make the playoffs or not.
Yeah. He's still shooting 27% from 3.
Yeah, he's having a bad year, but I feel like he's having more confidence in himself now compared to before. So I want some of the younger players to continue to grow and stop getting injured.
Yeah. Dan, what would make this team successful? Again, not playoff contender, but just successful.
No. I think in the organization's eyes, I think a play-in would be the definition of successful. And I already can hear AK saying that this team is a competitive team and just blame it all on injuries. But I am also with Scott. Personally, don't care if we make it into the play-in or playoffs or anything like that. Yeah. So, Scott, you saying that you want to see Kobe's continuation of developing, same with Io and all the young guys. We definitely will because of all the injuries that we have. Like, we're for sure playing more young guys, which I think is a good thing because it, like Scott said, it helps them develop. And we get to see some of the young talent that we actually do have. And those guys actually care about the game instead of, someone on our team that just cares about the money, Zach. I just think that the Bulls with their young core instead of the big 3 or whatever, I think that's a better route. And I would not be surprised if we slipped to 11th with all the injuries. So yeah, that's what I think would be a good finish for the season. Let's just develop your young guys. I mean, you got nothing to lose. Half the team's injured.
Solid point. I'm with you guys. At this point of the season, I know they're not going to do it, but let's pull the plug. Let's end all playoff hopes. Let's just see what these young guys got. I know that I mentioned Sonogo and I mentioned all these young talents a lot, but in reality, I'm 100% serious. Like, we need to see what these guys do. We draft players to essentially send them in limbo and never see what they got. To the point where, we mention it all the time. We ask for draft picks, but then we draft the players and then we send them down to the G League or we let them rot away on the bench. Dalen Terry just now started getting some more playing time, and look what he's doing. He's establishing himself as a great defender. He's aggressive. He doesn't always take the best shots, and some of them he airballs, I'll be honest with you, but that's a matter of recognizing your error and growing from it. So for me, I think a successful season would be, again, continue developing Kobe, establishing some better team chemistry, gathering an identity moving forward. That's what I think has been our biggest hurdle is we have no identity.
We haven't had identity in like 3 years.
Yeah. And again, like you guys mentioned, with injuries being a thing, it's hard. I understand that, but we have no identity going forward. At this point of the season, we should recognize what works and what doesn't. But I would like to see, again, let's use different lineups. screw it, whatever. We threw the double big out there and it's working. Despite us saying it the entire season, throw Vooch and Drummond out there. It's finally working. So, throw Vooch and Sonogo out there. Throw Drummond and Sonogo out there. Let's experiment with some length and some height, and let's see what these guys have. We just signed Batim. Let's utilize him. He's shooting 43% in the G League. Shooting stats are stats that you can't fake them. You know what I mean? You have to take the shots. Lie. Yeah, exactly. So G League or not, he's still hitting 43% of his shots. Screw it. Bring it in. You know what I mean? So in my opinion, yeah, a successful season would be the Bulls just establishing an identity. If we make the play in, cool. If we don't, I could take it or leave it. So,
I mean, if we don't, then, thank God that we can finally close the book on this season.
Yeah.
And stop torturing ourselves every 2 nights.
Bulls fans, this has been a long season, and it's not even over yet. Before we move on to our critical thinking question of the game, are any of you guys punching a ticket to Australia to go see this No Bull tour?
Now I have that kind of money. Still trying to plan my honeymoon. God.
Scott, what is
to Australia?
Yeah,
Dan.
I was gonna say maybe now I can push this Australia honeymoon on her.
Scott, explain to the Bulls fans what the No Bull tour is.
Who was it? It was Scottie Pippen, Luke Longley,
Horace
Grant.
Horace. Yeah. They want to tell their story of The Last Dance because, as I've said before, Last Dance was a terrible documentary that did not focus enough on the other players on the team, and it focused too much on Jordan.
Yeah.
But Luke Longley was on that team and won 3 championships. We barely heard about him.
Yeah. Well, Horace Grant won 3 championships as well, and we didn't hear much from him.
Yeah. Scottie Pippen's there because Scottie Pippen is an asshole.
Well, he's also the ambassador of some Australian team. But I just hope it's not some just 3 old guys. I just hope it's not some 3 bitter old men just going up there and telling their side of the story. I understand that they did get screwed with The Last Dance, and Michael Jordan is kind of a dick. I get that, but I mean, it's Pippen, so are you.
But he's a dick that won a franchise like the Chicago Bulls 6 championships.
I know, but I went into The Last Dance the first time I watched it. I went into it thinking that this is going to be a Bulls documentary. It was more like a Jordan documentary that featured the Chicago Bulls.
Well, that's what it is. That's what it was. And to Scott's, point, maybe if they would have named it something a little different other than The Last Dance, and project, hey, this is going to be Jordan focus. I'm pretty sure if you're watching a 1990s Bulls documentary, I mean, it's pretty much a given. It's going to be focused on Michael Jordan. You know what I mean? That's
the majority of it, or a big bulk of it. Yeah. But I mean, I went into it hoping that I would learn more about the behind the scenes of the actual team, not just what Michael is doing, Michael's personal security team and all that shit. I don't care about that. I want to know what
he was gambling backstage with that one guy, just rolling quarters.
Because Jordan has a serious gambling problem.
Yeah, but you know what? Again, like you guys said, you hope it's not 3 bitter guys talking smack about the team. Hopefully those 3 bitter guys understand that the only reason that they carry the hardware that they carry was because of Michael Jordan. And I'm talking directly to Scottie Pippen when I say this. That man that you are now developing an animosity towards, I don't know if it's because his son was porking your ex-wife or some personal vendetta, but you have 6 rings on your fingers because of Michael Jordan. I don't want to say show a little respect, but
it wasn't all Michael
quit
Jordan.
Your bitching. No. I'm not saying that.
And I think that's kind of how the documentary kind of portrayed it as, is that, all right, Michael pretty much had this entire team had to carry this entire team, which isn't entirely true because Scottie was an amazing player at the time.
He was. And he had his opportunity the next season when Michael retired, and he did bring them to the playoffs.
Didn't Scottie also get MVP that season?
I don't think so.
I thought he did. Maybe,
I don't know. I don't think he's ever won an MVP.
Look it up real quick.
Yeah, but he got him to the playoffs, but Michael Jordan was just that player that boosted you in to the next level of play. It's kind of like taking LeBron James off of the Miami Heat. You know what I mean? They probably would have made it to the show, but LeBron James was just that piece to elevate you into championship favorite status. Fellas, you ready to move on to the game of the week?
Yeah.
Again with the enthusiasm. Dan Gracie, your enthusiasm.
Sorry, I was trying to find if Scottie Pippen ever won MVP, and he has never won MVP.
That's what I figured as such. All right.
Yeah, sorry. I was on Twitter. For some reason, Rip Hamilton was trending.
Oh, God, why?
Oh, boy.
Yeah. No, he apparently was. He was at the UConn game.
Oh, okay.
Jay Williams was like talking to him and was like, "Hey, why don't you take a half court shot?" So he took a half court shot and sunk it.
There you go, Rip.
Like just in a sweatsuit.
Bulls legend Richard Rip Hamilton.
Yeah, Bulls legend. I love it.
You think that the Zach LaVine contract was robbery? Let me point you towards the Richard Hamilton contract that was robbery.
His contract was bad. I don't think it was the best signing at that time when we signed him. I would have signed multiple other shooting guards like Jamal Crawford or OJ Mayo at that time.
Monte Ellis.
Monta at that time.
Monte. Come on, man.
But yeah, I mean, we needed a 2 guard at that time, and Jerry being Jerry, what's the cheapest option?
A guy that's going to sit on your bench and steal your money.
Yeah, a guy that has been regressing for the last 2 seasons.
So
on what
let's
team?
try this
the
again.
Detroit Pistons.
Yeah. You talk shit about the Detroit Pistons. They made your boy Richard Rich Hamilton.
Oh, for sure.
Into what he is.
For sure. That was a great championship team.
Now, let's try this again. Fellas, are you ready to play our game this week?
Yeah.
There we go. All right. A little bit of life out of you. All right. With it being our 13th episode and we're paying tribute to the great Joakim Noah, our game of the week is centered around Joakim Noah. So I'm going to ask you guys back and forth questions about Joakim Noah in the same format as the last one, A, B, C, or D, and whoever gets it wrong has a chance to steal. Scott Berman, you are...
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Can I help you?
You are the first player in the Joakim Noah themed game. The Bloody Horns podcast guy is going to love this because that was his favorite player of all Chicago Bulls history. Shout out Bloody Horns guy, the Justin from the Bloody Horns podcast. If you're not following him, go follow him. He does Bulls Legends of the Day. I love his content. So, but anyway, Scott Berman, what year was Joakim Noah drafted? Is it A, 2010, B, 2003, C, 2007, or D, 2006?
2007.
2007 is the correct answer. Point to Scotty B. Yep.
I thought it was 2006.
Well, you would have been wrong.
Yeah.
All right. Dan Gracie, you are next. Your question is, what is Joakim Noah's middle name? Is it A, Jamal, B, Benjamin, C, Simon, or D, Anthony?
Oh. I have no idea. I always thought he had some like weird middle name as well. I'm going to go with D, Anthony.
That is incorrect. Okay. Scott?
I figured it was some like French name.
Right.
Or something.
I thought it was going to be like Joachim, but that's his dad's name.
Yeah. Joachim?
His dad's name is Yannick.
Joachim Portal.
Oh, yeah. That's who I was thinking of. Joachim Portal. Sorry.
Okay.
I'm going to go B.
B? Benjamin?
Yeah.
That is incorrect. I'm sorry. So none of you guys get the point. Joakim Noah's middle name is Simon.
Oh.
His name is Joakim Simon Noah.
Huh.
So none of you get the point. Okay. This will be Scott's question. I have a feeling he's gonna get this one. Scott, what college did Joakim Noah attend?
Florida.
Florida State or Florida University?
There you go.
He went to University of Florida.
Okay. All right.
Wasn't Billy Donovan his coach?
He went to University of Florida. That's correct.
I don't know if Billy was coaching. His teammate was Big Al Horford, though.
All right.
Yeah, they won.
Yep.
They won twice. I'm kidding. Dan?
No, they did win 2 national championships back to back.
All right. Dan.
Okay, that was one of the questions coming up.
What was the last NBA team that Joakim Noah played for? Was it A, the Chicago Bulls?
Nope.
B, the Los Angeles Clippers? C, the New York Knicks? Or D, the Memphis Grizzlies?
I'm going to go with the Clippers.
That is correct. Dan Gracie gets a point. He is on the board, 2-1. Scott Berman, how many All-Star appearances does Joakim Noah have? A, 4, B, 2, C, 5, or D, 1?
He had 2 All-Star appearances.
That is correct. Joakim Noah has won 2 All-Star appearances. All right. 3-1, Scott Berman. Dan
might win this one.
Dan, if you don't get this question right, I'm going to have to test your attention span, okay?
I mean, I do have ADHD, so.
How many national champions does Joakim Noah have? A, 2, B, 4, C, 3, or D, 1?
Well, clearly Scott just said 3, so no, I'm just kidding. It's 2. It's 2.
Oh,
It's 2. It's 2.
All right. Oh my goodness. Oh, geez, Louise. Okay. I almost dropped dead right there. It was okay. Scott Berman. Who was the coach of Joakim Noah during college? A, Coach K, B, John Calipari, C, Rick Pitino, or D, Billy Donovan?
Billy Donovan.
Billy Donovan was Joakim Noah's coach during college. That's correct. We have Scott, you are in the lead with 4 points, and Dan, you have 2 points. So this is the last question. Scott, you win, but I also wanted to ask this. I'll see. Dan, this is your...
Suck it, nerd.
Scott Berman back on the winning track.
Man.
Dan.
Yeah.
Joakim Noah's father, Yannick, not
Yannick.
Joakim,
Whatever.
Yannick Noah,
That was close.
is a former professional athlete. Can you name what
Tennis.
sport?
It was tennis.
Dan gummit. Finish the question. All right, fine.
Tennis.
Yes,
His
the
mom used to
choices
play
were...
basketball.
Yes, and that's why I was trying to trip you up. It was A, tennis, B, basketball, C, cricket, or D, soccer. And yes, Yannick Noah was known for being a tennis player. Very good. So, Dan Gracie, you have been dethroned. Scott Berman is taking this episode's championship. Congratulations to Scott Berman. And before we conclude this episode, I have a bonus critical thinking question for you guys. Since this is a Joakim Noah themed podcast today, should the Chicago Bulls retire number 13 for Joakim Noah? Thoughts on that?
Yes, they 100% should. I'm surprised. Well, no, I'm not surprised they haven't already, but I do think that Joe should be up there, Lou should be up there, and Derek should be up there.
What about Kirk? What about Kirk?
Oh, Kirk too. I do think Kirk. Well, I don't know.
So we're going to go from retiring 4 jerseys from the history of the franchise in 60 years to just retiring 4 jerseys in one season?
Oh no, I'm not saying they all need to get it done at the same time. I'm just saying, like, I do think those 3 players did a lot for the city of Chicago. They were part of our almost championship years. I mean, as much as I love Kirk, I don't think they will or they should retire his number.
Okay.
But yeah, so yes, to answer your question, yes, they should retire.
Okay. I respect that. Scotty B. Should number 13 be up in the rafters next to the great Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Bob Love, and Jerry Sloan? And Jerry Krause.
Is Artis Gilmore up there?
No. Artis Gilmore? No, he's not up there.
He should be up there too.
He's going to have to fight Luke Longley to the death for number 13.
Oh, yeah.
But
I forgot about that Luke wore 13.
Yeah. Oh, man.
I would say so. Him and Rose will probably get it at the same time. But
What about Lou?
no, I think Heinrich and Luol Deng are very good, but they're not rafter type players.
Yeah.
And if you are doing rafter, I would put Kirk Heinrich above Lou, because Kirk Heinrich was statistically one of the best shooters we ever had.
Yeah, true.
So,
Yeah.
True.
But I think Rose is going to get it. The next closest is Noah, and I'm still on the fence about that one. But knowing Jerry, probably Derrick Rose only, because
It'll
for
be
some
the
reason
biggest draw.
he refuses to retire people's number for some reason, which blows my mind.
It probably costs too much money to make those giant banners.
Yeah. Why is Artis Gilmore not up there?
He's the greatest center in Bulls history.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that once Artis Gilmore passes away, you may see his number retired.
And boo his wife. Just kidding.
Jeez, dude.
No.
So yeah, I'm with you guys. I think Joakim Noah's number should get retired. Not just because of what he did for the team, just because of how much of a fan favorite he was. Like, everybody loved Joakim Noah. His antics, his play, that weird freaking cyclone shot that I can't even fathom how it goes in. You know, everybody loved Joakim Noah. And I think, you know, I mean, with him being the ambassador to the team right now, you know, he loved Chicago. Being a kid from I think it was New York, he said he was from, you know, for him adopting the city of Chicago as kind of his favorite city. You know what I mean? He's a remarkable player. He was in MVP contention the year that Derek went down. You know, the list goes on and on and on. The Cleveland speech, I mean, you either loved Joakim Noah or you hated Joakim Noah. And if you were a Chicago Bull fan, everyone loved Joakim Noah. So I think number 13 should be hanging up there.
We need a player like Joe on this team.
Yeah.
Like, we have Caruso, but I mean, like, Joe brought so much
Yes.
to that squad. Like, it wasn't even like, you didn't even see it on the stat. Like,
Yes.
oh my God.
Like the clapping when Chris Bosh and Mario Chalmers were arguing with each other.
Yup. He brought so much heart to the game.
Yeah. Yeah. He was probably one of the most ruthless players I've ever watched in a Bulls jersey as far as antics.
And this entire city loved him.
Yeah. So I think that we need to do good by Joakim Noah and raise the banner. And if Jerry doesn't want to fork out the money, we'll start a GoFundMe, and I'm sure it'll reach its goal the first minute that we open it up. Fellas, we've reached that sad time of the podcast where we start to wrap it up. So, Dan Gracie, what do you have for the fans before we go home?
Let's hope that Bitim gets some legit playing time, and we see these young guys out there start to develop since we have so many injuries. Again, check out our merch store. Use the promo code BULLS. Or
What?
No, it's not Bulls. It's Horns 20.
Jeez Louise, dude.
I'll get it right one of these times.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. Okay. Yeah. And what do you get when you use Horns 20?
Oh, when you use the promo code Horns20, you get 20% off your order. And you can make that order at denzelarrange.com.
I like it. Scotty B, what do you got?
Don't get your hopes up for this team. We're not a playoff team. We're at best play-in team, but what we need to be watching out for is the development of the young players and building the young core. This is an in-between team, and we are going to be like this for a bit. So the best thing you can hope for right now is development of players like Kobe, Io, Phillips, Terry, and that's what I'm just looking for, and I hope the Bulls fans that are listening are looking for the same thing.
Yep. Powerful words. Let's lower the expectations a little bit and start looking for realistic goals here.
I mean, at the beginning of the season, in our episode 1, we all said that this team should be able to get the 6th seed.
Yeah.
And my expectations have tempered since then.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Well, I would hope so.
Yeah.
But, you know, had this team been healthy, that could have been a realistic possibility. But
I mean, assuming that Zach was going into the season playing winning basketball, because like he didn't in the beginning of the season. That's why we sucked so bad.
Right.
But anyways.
Well, that's going to do it for this episode of the Horns Over Hoops podcast. We hope you enjoyed what you heard, and then hopefully you subscribe to our channel, download our episodes. Once again, like Dan said, slide over to our URL, denzelrange.com, to check out our merch store. We got some really cool stuff on there. We have a sweater vest on there. I want people to buy that sweater vest. You guys hate the sweater vest. I hope somebody buys the
sweater. You mean the one
the pink one?
It looks pink.
Yes,
the pink one.
That one. I hope somebody buys it. Once again, like I mentioned earlier, we are now affiliate of the Fans First Sport Network, so we thank them for extending that offer to us. We're happy to be aboard, and again, we're looking forward to making quality content for all our listeners, as always. That's going to wrap it up for today. From all of us here at Horns Over Hoops, we ask our Bulls fans to see red and go Bulls. Good night, everybody.